Should I come back and sit down when each evaluator comes up to evaluate the speaker?
Just stand off the side if you want to. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Speakers and Leaders Hour. I'm Dave Wilkins, your host, and this is the program that comes into your home once a month on Tuesday evening from 7 to 8 p.m., first Tuesday of the month, and we are here live in the Allen County Public Library. This show is interactive. You can call in and talk to us anytime you want. That number is 422-3902. Tonight we're here to talk about, as always, the Toastmaster organization, and particularly one club here in Fort Wayne who has agreed to take away time from their regular meeting place, which is the Waynedale Public Library. They're there every Tuesday night, but tonight they're here with us, and they're here to promote their club and the fact that they're now in Waynedale. So having said that, I'd like to introduce the panel. First, on my right, your left, at the far end is Jim Green, a member of the Bearfield Toastmasters. And Jim is right there. Say hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
There you go. And next to him is the lovely Linda Demarest, who is now serving as our club president. On the other side of the room, at the far end of the table, you will find Tom Howler. And Tom Howler is the co-host of this program, and he's also a member of multiple numbers of Toastmaster clubs, not yet Bearfield, but maybe we'll get him to join. Tom, thank you for being here tonight. And then next to Tom is a young lady who, this is her first trip here, is a new member of the Bearfield Toastmasters, and that is Susan Heine. Susan, thank you so much for coming this evening. It's good to have you here, and we're looking forward to your speech a little bit later on. And last but not least is the lady that I'm very fond of introducing, the lady that I have spent the last 52 plus years with, my wife, Bernice. Please welcome Bernice. Bernice, thank you for being here, and she also is a member of the Bearfield Toastmasters Club. So as the Toastmaster meeting goes on, you have speeches, you have evaluation, we have topics, and we're going to give you a demonstration of just what Bearfield can do. To do that, we need to begin with a person called the General Evaluator, and that person will come up here and introduce their team at this time. And that's Bernice Wilkins, please.
Come on, guys. May as well milk it for all it's worth. Evaluation is the heart of the Toastmaster program. It's not critiquing. Evaluation is a supportive report on how the person did, what they did well, and maybe a word or two of advice to help them even do better. So I have a team of evaluators already in place. We will go through those right now. Our first speaker will be Linda Demarest, and Linda has asked for a round-robin evaluation, so we all get a shot at her, so to speak. Our second speaker is Susan Heine, and Susan will be evaluated by Tom Haller. Tom will also be speaking, and his evaluator is Jim Green. Now we have a session called the topic session, little off-the-cuff speeches. Even those get evaluated, and I will be doing the honors there. Our timer is Dave Wilkins. Would you like to explain the timing, Dave?
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. We'll be using the paddles tonight to time. Linda has requested 10 to 15, so she'll get the green at 10, the yellow at 12, and the red at 15. Okay. The other two speeches each are 5 to 7. At 5 minutes, they receive the green signal, 6, the yellow, and at red at 7. Now for the topics, the answers are 1 minute in length. You'll see the green signal at 30 seconds, the yellow signal at 40 seconds, the red signal at 50 seconds, and at 1 minute, we will politely applaud you to the comfort of your seat. And that is my timing report.
Well, you may as well not go anywhere, Dave, because I'm going to return control to you, and we will get on with the program.
All right. Thank you, Bernice. Well, as you can see, there's a lot of structure to a Toastmaster meeting, but once you learn the structure, it moves everything very smoothly and very well. As your Toastmaster tonight, it's my job to keep the program moving, to introduce the various elements, also to encourage people to recognize them with their applause. Our first presenter is Linda Demarest. She's been around Toastmasters now about 5 years, and she currently serves as our club president. She has also served in the office of Vice President of Public Relations. She is an Advanced Communicator Silver. That's a designation that she has earned down the line. And with the completion of her project tonight, she will have attained the designation of Advanced Communicator Gold. So please welcome Linda Demarest.
Thank you, Dave. As Bernice pointed out, evaluation is an important part of the Toastmasters. You almost stole all my thunder for my introduction, Bernice.
I'm sorry.
The purpose, though, is to help produce effective speakers. And something that I had not thought of, but effective speech evaluation benefits not just the speaker, it also benefits the evaluator, and it benefits the whole club. And at Bearfield Toastmasters, we have a camaraderie there that I'm sure that the effective evaluation has helped to develop. To me, it's almost a family feeling. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk a little bit more about this evaluation process. I'm going to list 10 different behaviors that help to build an effective evaluator. First, show that you care. And I think that goes for anything that we do in life. If we come across as fakey, just out there to lick somebody's boots, quote, it's not going to go over well. But to show that you care, you also need to get to know the person. So an evaluator needs to get to know the speaker that they're evaluating. Number 2, suit your evaluation to the speaker. And how are you going to do that if you don't know the person? So you need to get with them so that you can adapt your evaluation to their needs, to their sensitivities, to the experience level of the speaker. Now, in the Bearfield Toastmasters Club, we have quite a variation in the level of experience among our speakers. We have a couple members who are managers, manager of a bank, another manager in one of the largest insurance companies around, and they'd already done a lot of speaking, but yet they came to Toastmasters because they felt they needed more than they just needed more training. Then we have others who are coming so that they can communicate their ideas more clearly. Get rid of those butterflies that seem to be encompassing them before they speak. Learning why they are at Toastmasters helps us to be better evaluators. Knowing their goals. If we don't know a person's goals, how are we going to help them be able to reach them? Recognize the symptoms of insecurity or fear. If they're coming up there and they're quaking in their boots, you know that they're really scared. Or perhaps as they're speaking, they just can't seem to get their thoughts put together. Learn the speaker's objectives. As I said, you need to learn their goals. Find out a couple of days ahead what they're going to be speaking on. Find out the questions. Each speech usually comes with a manual. The advanced communicator manuals have 5 speeches each. The first manual for the competent communicator has 10. And for each speech, there are questions that accompany it that help you with your evaluation. If you can go over those questions ahead of time, that can help to make you more aware of what you're watching for in their speech. It shows you the goals that speech is trying to attain. Listen actively. I never really thought about this until I did a seminar on better listening. Listening doesn't just involve the ears. You know, we always hear about 2 ears, so you should listen a lot more than you speak. But did you ever stop to think that listening also involves that gray matter? Well, it does. When we're listening, we need to stay focused. How many times have you guys been listening to somebody and you're going in your head, did I forget to buy that at the grocery store? Oh, what else do I need on my grocery list? How much of it are we really hearing if we're not focused on the speaker? So to be a good listener, to be a good evaluator, you've got to really hear what the speaker is saying. Empathize with the speaker. If you know a little bit about their background, then when they make their speech, it helps you to look at it from their perspective. This is one of the biggest things. When we're evaluating, we are not up there to criticize. We're there to help. If we can put ourselves in their shoes some, then as they give their speech, it's a lot easier to empathize with them. Like, I have a husband who's diabetic, so if somebody gives a speech on nutrition, whoa, I'm all ears, because I have to be aware of what I'm fixing for my husband, so anything I can learn on nutrition is going to help me. And this goes along with finding shared areas of interest. As the speech is completed, you need to be focusing on what was the main idea. Did their conclusion bring it all together? Did the body of the speech follow that main idea, develop that main idea? It's a good idea if you can have a separate sheet of paper. That way you can write down your thoughts as they speak, things that you notice, and then apply whatever needs to be applied to the questions in the manual. Another point, personalize your language. Again, we're not there to criticize. We're giving our opinion. So when you're evaluating their speech vocally, use phrases like, my reaction is, not you should have, or I felt like, not your opening was, and then you're going on. We need to remember that we're not there with a bat to hit them over the head. We're there to build them up. And when offering your recommendations, this is especially important. I suggest, not you should, or you should do this, try this. A technique that I have found good speakers do it by. I hope that you can tell the difference in those phrases. We're there to give positive reinforcement. We're there to show them that the Toastmasters works. We need to be giving honest praise, not, again, licking boots. They're going to know the difference, and we're defeating the purpose. I didn't think about this before, but have you ever thought about the fact that evaluations are to be a motivator? We're not just there to say this needs improved, or we feel that your speech would be better if you did this or that. We're there to help motivate. We want them to make more speeches. We want them to come back. So, we want to know their goals. How can you motivate somebody if you don't know where they're trying to go? So we need to know their goals. That way we can be encouraging them in the direction of their goals. And that in turn will encourage them to keep working harder to improve. We need to focus on what we feel the speaker should be doing. Notice I said feel. We're not their drill sergeant. We're offering suggestions. Keep our recommendations manageable. Select 1 or 2 areas that we would like to suggest they make changes on or improvements. And then I think the biggest thing is give them ideas on how they can improve. It's like saying, okay, paint that wall, and then they're going, I've never painted a wall before. What do I need and everything? If we don't give them some tools to help, then we've left them out there floating. Now, that's the evaluator. But hey, the evaluator can't do everything by himself. The speaker has a responsibility too, then, after that evaluation. His is the ultimate responsibility because he's wanting to grow. That's why he came to Toastmasters. So how do we motivate him? Or what does the speaker need to do? They need to keep in mind their goals. Okay, this is what I want. How am I going to get there? This is suggestions that are being made for me. They help their evaluator prepare. In that way, they are both working together towards those goals. A speaker's not on their own. That's one thing about Toastmasters. We're never on our own. We're a group working together to help each other grow. Prepare diligently. If you come up with your speech 5 minutes before you're supposed to give it, it's going to sound like it. And really, you're cheating yourself. Empathize with your evaluator. Remember, they are not there to hurt you. They're there to help you. And this is the part that I think is so neat about Toastmasters is, as I said, we're there to help each other. When you work with your evaluator by telling, okay, this is what I'm going to be talking about. This is the manual speech that it is. These are the questions that you're going to be dealing with. That helps the evaluator, but it also helps the speaker then because the evaluator it directs his line of thinking more. And finally, the speaker needs to be prepared to change. That's the whole purpose of anything in life, being willing to change. We don't expect a baby to stay a baby. Heavens, no. Them diapers no. We don't want a baby to stay a baby. So it is with Toastmasters or any organization that you join to help you grow. You've got to be willing to take the suggestions that are offered. Prepare to change. Okay. The speaker's got to be prepared to change. The evaluator needs to be prepared to change. Okay, what am I going to change? That's the next question. As an evaluator, what are you wanting to change? What do you need to change as far as evaluating goes? For myself, I know I really have to work on my listening. I have troubles focusing, I will admit that. And I also have troubles because our club, Bearfield Toastmasters, has some of the best speakers around. And trying to do an evaluation, say, okay, I feel that this could be changed or that could be changed. Guys, you make it hard. Anyhow, but again, because we recognize the benefits of change, we try our best to think of things that could help them. And another thing about change, if we work at it constantly, it becomes a habit. It helps us to not get stuck in a rut. Never stop improving. That's our motto. I know it's not the Toastmasters' whole motto, but for our club, I think that would be neat. Never stop improving. Mm-hmm. And on that note, as an evaluator, we're going to be hearing some tonight, so you're going to get a demonstration of how evaluations work. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Linda. You have really grown in the past 5 years you've been a Toastmaster. I don't want to step on those who will be evaluating you, but I really appreciate what you said tonight. And you certainly gave a great commercial for Bearfield Toastmasters, meeting on Tuesday night at the Waynedale Public Library, 6:30 to 8 p.m. every Tuesday night. Be sure to come out and join us every Tuesday. All right. Now we're going to have a speaker who has given 4 of the speeches from her basic manual. She's on project number 5, which is Your Body Speaks. You're supposed to use gestures. With her title of Organizational Skills, please welcome Susan Heinrich, please.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Thank you, everybody, for that applause. I appreciate it. And hello to the audience out there. Well, I'm going to start by saying I hate clutter. I don't like it. I don't like it in my home. I don't like it in my life. When it grows, it just keeps growing and growing, and I can't find anything. And when I can't find anything, I feel sad. When I can't find anything, I feel disorganized. For example, when I recently moved here, I had boxes and boxes all over the house, and some were labeled correctly and some weren't. So I'm looking at a box that a dear friend had helped me with that was marked winter clothes. Well, what was in there was glass dishes. Luckily, none of them broke. But organization is just so important, especially when you move. Like I said, I just moved. But it also helps you be more efficient within your life and get more things done. A little personal note, I have a very busy schedule right now with quite a lot of piles of things going on. I'm caretaking my elderly mother and babysitting for children, and I'm a part-time minister, and I go to school, and I'm in Toastmasters. The Toastmasters that's on Lower Huntington Road, Bearfield Toastmasters, that meets Tuesdays at 6:30. Well, I also have a small business, and my business is helping people declutter. I'm not kidding, I really do hate clutter, but I'm also empathetic with people that do not particularly have that skill. They might have a lot of wonderful heart skills, might have a lot of head skills, but maybe their skills are not being organized. Well, you can hire me, and I can help you get organized. One of the things I particularly do well is helping people prepare to move and selling their house. I recently had a client who, well, she turned 65, and she was ready to leave this cold Indiana, and she wanted to move south. She had a 3-story house with 4 bathrooms, 5 bedrooms, and many, many more. And this had been a childhood home, so it had accumulated her great aunt's china, her mother's things from Germany. Just there was a lot of things in the house. Well, most of you will identify this, that when you have a lot of things, you have emotional attachment to them. And that emotional attachment isn't something that can just go away. But if you hire a person that doesn't like clutter but has empathy, I can help you make some of those decisions. Well, for example, the decisions would be, what have you used in the last year? If you haven't used it in the last year, then we're going to get rid of it. And we can get rid of it by either selling it, because it might be something of value. We can use Craigslist. We can use quite a lot of other things that are available to you. Or we can donate it. And what I love doing is just sitting down, using some empathy, hearing the family story, and then saying, okay, let's part with that. Because you can't take it with you. This particular client I was talking about, she is moving where it's warm weather, and she's moving to a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home. You could do what a lot of people do. You rent a storage unit, and you could pay the money to keep your stuff in storage. But in doing that, you eventually will have to get rid of things anyways, or your children will have to do it for you if you pass. But I would suggest that you let it up to an expert. Let somebody help you. And that could be me. So if you want to find out more, you could come to our next Toastmaster meeting in Waynedale. We meet on Tuesdays at 6:30. It's a wonderful group that I've learned quite a lot with. I'm new to the group, and it is helping me to promote this business by learning how to speak better. So I'm just delighted to be a part of the group. I invite you all to come, and I also invite you to get in touch with me, and I can help you declutter because I hate clutter. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Susan. If you came over to our house, you would have a heart attack. I'm telling you. We don't have clutter, we have stuff. Now, I know some other people have junk, but we have stuff. And so, we're
One person's stuff is another person's dream.
exactly. But we dream about our stuff, so. Thank you so much, Susan.
Oh, you're welcome.
What a great presentation. And what a nice commercial for, where was that again?
It's on Lower Huntington
Yes, okay.
Road in Waynedale.
Waynedale.
At the public library at 6:30 on Tuesdays.
Okay, that's 2200 Lower Huntington Road, I believe, is the address. And you're all welcome, so please come in and see us. Okay. Well, folks, you've learned a little bit about Boardfield Toastmasters and some of the people that are there. Now, aside from clubs here in Fort Wayne meeting on a weekly basis, bi-weekly basis, there is an event coming up this weekend, and that event is a fall conference. Doesn't happen here very often, but we're very lucky to have a gentleman who is part of the fall conference committee come up here and talk to us about what we can expect and what's going on with the fall conference. Please welcome my co-host, Tom Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Wilkins, fellow Toastmasters, everybody in TV land. I'm rather pleased, actually, that we don't get this program at our house with our current TV setup. My wife would get into this decluttering, and it's hard telling where it would end. Probably end with my being thrown out.
Oh, I wouldn't help with that.
We are delighted to hear that restraint. All right. I do indeed want to talk about the upcoming conference. It's held once every 3 years here in Fort Wayne. I think so far every year it's the same place where it is now, at the Don Hall's Guest House. That's a very good place to have the meeting. It's easy to get to if you're traveling, easy to get to if you're coming locally like I am. It's also very compact. One year we had it at a nice resort along the lake, which in many ways was very wonderful, except there was a very, very long walk, and I'm a little too old for very, very long walks. So this is very nicely compact, all in one place. It'll be very nicely run, I assure you. I was a Toastmaster for many, many years before I went to my first conference. I really had, no idea what I was missing. Finally, I went to one. It was one probably 9 years ago, I would guess, several years ago here in Fort Wayne. My wife had a recently retired husband on her hands, and she felt that it was time for him to do something besides sit around the house. And Toastmasters, although she was not interested at that time, only very recently has she become interested. She felt it so strongly that I should get into it that she had me stay at Don Hall's Guest House, even though it's only about 15 minutes from where we live. And that's with me driving. With her driving, it's about 10 minutes. But it's a great opportunity to learn many things in a very short period of time. The clubs are wonderful. You learn a lot. People go from being scared to speak in public to being very polished public speakers in their club. But there is obviously some limit to how much you can learn. By going to a conference, you will be taught by experts. This year, there are 9 different sessions available. They're 3 at a time for 3 time periods, so you can only take in 3. But they're all excellent topics, excellent educational sessions each time. This time, our own Dave Wilkins will be teaching parliamentary procedure with the help of his lovely wife. That alone would be worth the price of admission. We're having the speech contest, the humorous speech contest, not just any speech contest. By the time you get to the district level, this is a district meeting, it takes in Toastmasters from all of Indiana and the northern half of Kentucky. So these people have cleared both their club contests, their area contests, and then the division contests. So we're getting into the best of the best. I've never saw a poor speaker among the groups, and they always do an excellent job. Very humorous, very funny. There's also the excellent chance to develop new contacts, to work the crowd if you're so inclined, to find out what other Toastmasters are doing in other areas, to get to know people, and to renew old friendships. We're in a highly mobile society, so if you move and you stay within that Indiana-Kentucky framework, well, there's a good chance you'll see old friends there. We also have business to conduct. We don't conduct business on the district level except twice a year. Well, generally, there's little exceptions to that, but it's very important that it be done effectively and efficiently, and Mr. Wilkins, year after year, I should say every 6 months, after every 6 months, watches over and guides us carefully through that procedure. It's important, just as it was important that you vote today. I hope you all did. I'm sure you all didn't, because it doesn't work that way. But today was your opportunity to vote for government offices. If you're a Toastmaster, this coming weekend, Friday and particularly the business meeting on Saturday, will be your chance to vote on things that will be going on in Toastmasters on the district level. I don't know about you, but one of the things that annoys me the most in life is people who are very upset with the government, don't like what the officials are doing, will bend your ear extensively to tell you that, and then you find out they never voted. By what right do they carry on like this? And it's the same at Toastmasters. If you want to have an impact on what needs to happen at Toastmasters, go to the business meeting, vote. We have a fair parliamentary procedure based on Robert's Rules of Order. With Mr. Wilkins, as I said, watching over it, so you know it will be fair and efficient. Now, I have not named the main reason yet. The best reason of all to go to conference is because it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's just very, very enjoyable. You have a lot of very nice, very cultured, very sophisticated people who are at the same time very down to earth and very humorous, and just a heck of a good group to get along with. I mean, the world is going, where in a handbasket. Toastmasters is doing all they can to reverse that effort. It would be a great place to be this weekend at Don Hall's Gas House, and I would strongly encourage you to be there, whether you are from the Bearfield Club, which meets every Tuesday night at the Waynedale Library at 6:30, or if you're from another club, or even if you're not a Toastmaster, come on down to Don Hall's Guest House. Guest House. I've done that before. Thank you, Bernice. Yeah, I was trying to explain to somebody where to go, and anyway, we won't go there. But the festivities will start Friday about 6 o'clock, and they'll continue going strong all day Saturday. So, in the strongest possible terms, I encourage you, I implore you, show up at conference this weekend, particularly if you're a Toastmaster. Mr. Wilkins.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Yeah. What a great promo for tonight's, for this weekend's conference. The Friday night fun night should be a good time. It's going to be an old-fashioned 50s style record hop or sock hop, and with costumes if you can make it, so we would like to have that too. Anyway, those are the three presenters that we have tonight. In a general Toastmaster setting, like at Bearfield Toastmasters, there on Lower Huntington Road at the Wayndale Library, you would have more people than could all give speeches at one time. To that end, we have something in Toastmasters called the topic session. And we have a man selected tonight to ask us questions so that we can all have a chance to answer them one at a time. Please welcome our Vice President of Education, Mr. Jim Green.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and distinguished guests in TV land. Now comes the fun part of Toastmasters. Table Topics is a session where I pose a question and I pick a victim to give a response. No, in honesty, it's not a victim. It is an attempt to help you develop speaking skills to think on your feet, or if you're sitting in your seat. This is a 60-second response to a question. The idea is to give a speech, a response in a practical sense, as an open, a body, and a conclusion, and use gestures, move your arms around, good vocal variety. And as in politics, as Tom alluded to, the truth is optional. So if you don't like the question, you can give a response to anything you'd like to say. In this instance, since we're in a TV environment, I will pick on a person first, then ask the question to give them time to think about a response. For example, my first question this evening goes to Linda Demarest. You've been a Toastmaster for a number of years now, which I shall remain silent on. However, what would be the most important advice you give a new Toastmaster?
All right, Linda.
Linda?
Thank you, Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. Most important advice that I would give a new Toastmaster: relax, enjoy. You've come to learn, you've come to grow, so have we all. We're all in this together. Relax. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. That is a very appropriate response to the question. Relax. We're all friends here. We're not here to injure anybody or make them look like a fool. We're here to help you grow. Dave Wilkins, over the past 20 years, you have hosted this program, and I'm sure you've had many people on your program. Mm-hmm. Over the last 20 years you've had this program, who would you like to have had as a guest but weren't able to get that person in?
Oh. Well, thank you, Mr. Topic Master, ladies and gentlemen. Who would I like to have had for a guest but was not able to get? I suppose some of our past district governors come to mind. Over the course of the years, I have had several of them on. It might have been fun to be able to have Tom
Doherty?
No. Who was the international president, Bernice?
I can't
Tom
Richardson.
Tommy Richardson, yes. Tommy Richardson would have been an ideal guest. He went all the way from the club setting to the international contest, and then went back and started over as the area governor and went up to become president of Toastmasters International. And he was president the same year that I was Division B governor, the same year that Keith Hood was District 11 governor right here. So it was kind of like a whole bunch of people all together all at once. That would have been fun.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you very much. Now, in Tom's speech, he talked about the upcoming fall conference this weekend at Don Hall's Guest House. I have to say it myself. Sorry, Tom. That it's on Washington Center Road. Tom, what was the craziest thing you've ever seen happen at a fall conference?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, I think I will decline to answer. There are several things that probably would be better left unsaid. Marriage is saved. What I exaggerate. I think the craziest things will be yet to be seen. The sock hop was my wife's idea, I might mention, and I imagine that will lead to considerable enjoyment and even hilarity and perhaps a few hijinks. I might also mention that our own Patricia Kanabe, who is almost always here with us month after month, is a little ill tonight. She is in charge of the group that puts it on from a local level. So I'm sure that the best is yet to come.
Thank you, Tom. That's wonderful. Unfortunately, I'll be working this weekend, so I will not be able to attend the fall conference. So, that's just so sad. Someone has to work for a living. One of the things is when you're preparing a presentation, is some people come to the library and do research on their topic. Some do it at home on their computer. I do it in the shower when I'm not being bothered by anything or anybody. Just think about what I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. So, Susan, what is your favorite place to go to develop your speech?
Thank you, Mr. Topic Master. And that's a very interesting question because, as I mentioned earlier, that I had just moved here. And in moving here, I actually had to find a space that I could call my own. I'm living in my mother's home, and it has all of her things. So in order to study, because I'm in school, and to write some of my sermons, and also for here, I had to create my own niche. And I did that in our family room, which has a fireplace, and I set it up for a kind of serene little office. It's my little place in her little home in Waynedale. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. Wow, fireplace sounds very interesting. I'm going to try that sometime.
It is nice.
Our final question goes to Bernice Wilkins.
Surprise.
You've been in Toastmasters for years. Who was the most influential Toastmaster you've ever known? The most. Denise?
Thank you, Mr. Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters. Actually, there was another question I liked better. The craziest thing that ever happened at a conference. I was a contestant at the Toastmasters International contest. They had just called my name, given the title of my speech. I started to trot up to the stage. We had a stage to speak from. It was really nice. And the lady had a heart attack and keeled over onto the floor right in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
It took about a half an hour to get the audience back. But it's the first time I ever heard anyone actually say, "Is there a doctor in the house?"
Oh my gosh.
And there wasn't, but there was a nurse that came forward. And the fireman came in with the big boots and everything and worked on her and then finally carted her out. That's the craziest thing that ever
Wow,
happened
that's a big deal.
at a conference, Mr. Topic.
When Bernice says, knock him dead, she takes it seriously.
Dave said I should have said, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted.
Yes. I remember Bearfield Toastmasters. We do meet at Waynedale Library, 2200 Lower Huntington Road, Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 8. If you have a chance, come on out and see how we do our shtick, as they would say in the movies. That
what?
return control back to our Toastmaster,
what?
Mr. Wilkins.
Did you say?
Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. Very interesting topics. I have just been handed a note. That I hardly ever get a chance to say that. I've been handed a note. At the present time, with some of the votes in, Henry has 58% of the vote, and Harper has 42.9% of the vote. And the others are listed here. If you're interested, I'll let you look at them. So keep going, votes. We got more to count yet. Okay, thank you for bringing that. Now, how did we do? Let us find out with our general evaluator, Bernice Wilkins. Bernice, please. Remember, she's a member of the Bearfield Toastmasters meeting at Waynedale Library at 2200 Lower Huntington Road, 6:30 to 8 on Tuesday night.
Thank you, Dave. In case you didn't know, Bearfield Toastmasters meets in Waynedale at the library on Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Is that right, Dave?
I believe that's right, yes.
I think I've heard that a few times. Now for our evaluations. This is where we really learn. This is how we grow. Our first speaker was Linda Demarest. She has asked for a round robin. So, which side shall we start on? Tom, would you have any advice for Linda?
Excellent job. It's interesting. I heard the same thing presented very effectively last night.
Oh,
We had a different Toastmaster meeting. I was amazed at how differently it was done, and still both were extremely effective. So really, I am reduced to saying that your outfit was lovely. I think you have defied the winter with your bright, the impending winter with your bright and lively colors. It is somewhat of a failure on my part, particularly in light of the topic, that I don't have any real suggestion for you to improve, but I'm just not quite sure what it would have been. And one thing the late Bob Norris taught me, if the best you can come up with is telling them that their shoelaces don't match their ties, well, maybe you better just say good job and go on.
Thank you. Did you have anything to offer, Susan?
but yes, I do. Mine is a little bit more detailed than general, so I'm going to jump in here. I took some notes. Well, first of all, Linda, the information was very interesting, and you presented it interestingly. And I could tell that you were sincere, and in that sincerity, it was something you felt passionate about. So I liked all that. It held my attention. And I liked that you said what you were going to say, and then you would say it. You kind of would set it up as, now I'm going to talk about this, and I thought that was good. You also, when you were giving points, you used your fingers counting. Number 1, number 2. So I thought the gestures were really good. And you also used gestures when you used the word butterflies, and you went like that. So, of course, my speech tonight was on gestures, so it was on the top of my mind. Other things that you did was you gave some personal examples, and I thought that was really good. For instance, you said, a personal experience, I never thought about this until I took a seminar on listening, and then you could tell that that was important to you. So it was really good, and I would only have one suggestion, and that would be in your choice of words. At one point towards the end, you said, we need to, and you were talking about using empathy, and it's we need to comes across as kind of harsh when you're talking about where the other person's coming from. So, but well done.
Very good. Jim?
Well, they say in TV, never follow better act. That was a good evaluation, Susan. Very detailed, very honest. I really don't have anything to top that. I think you did a fine job, and I think Susan covered all the bases.
Well, I would just reiterate what I said the last time you did a portion of this, is that you really brought your personalness into it. And over the years in Toastmasters, I've heard these workshops done a lot of times, and I have gone to sleep while somebody said, and point number 1 was fine, and number 2, they said, and they simply read it. You did not. You made it real. You made it alive, and you made it go in. Thank you.
You just stole my thunder, Dave. I was going to say I appreciated the fact that she didn't read the script. These are scripted workshops. You might maybe have given credit to Toastmasters International for providing the material. That's where it came from. But she didn't just read it. She made it her own. She put her own life experiences into it. So I think that's what really made it meaningful and made it effective. And as I said before, we don't have the capability of using PowerPoint, but I know that the material does include that if a person wanted to do a PowerPoint presentation. But you really do well. We can't do that, and you do an excellent job with it. Okay, and now we're ready for our second Speaker was Susan Heine, and she will be evaluated. Her speech will be evaluated by Tom Haller.
Thank you, lovely Bernice. I'm glad we clarified that. We don't evaluate the speaker, just how well they did in the speech. And Susan did extremely well, just an excellent job. She is somewhat of a ringer. Although she is a new Toastmaster, she is not that unfamiliar with public speaking. As she indicated, she is a minister, and she has apparently given quite a few talks and sermons. So it's perhaps not surprising that she was well above what you would expect of a Toastmaster of this level. I would not have necessarily thought that this lent itself, this particular topic, to gestures. And I might mention, although we colloquially call it the gesture topic, it is the entire body. It's more than just gestures. It's everything. And she did an excellent job in all regards. Along with, I thought the strongest point was probably her considerable preparation. She put a lot of time in this, obviously, and was very well prepared. Along with a lot of great gestures, like I was saying, it made the speech into a suitable speech for gestures, which I probably wouldn't have thought of. You did have some, maybe in consideration of being a minister, reasonable, you did give us the chapel, the speech. Now, when you're not making a gesture, just keep your hands to your side, or a useful gesture. But there were many good gestures, and overall, just an excellent talk, especially for someone at your level of experience. Just very well done.
Thank you, Tom. I know we're running a little late, so I'm going to very quickly go over the topic session.
Jim's got an evaluation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot your evaluation. Speaker evaluation is most important. I was going to leave you out. I can't believe that.
That's okay. Not the first time I've been left out. Oh. I didn't even call late for dinner a couple of times. Oh boy, it's getting deep. Tom's presentation this evening was on the fall conference coming up this weekend, which is at the Don Hall's Guest House on Washington Center Road. One of the things that they're supposed to cover in the evaluation is, was he sincere or not? And I think Tom comes across as like a grandfather or a father that giving good advice towards people. Come out to the conference, have a good time. I like to refer to your personal experiences, past experiences at the different conferences. Good gesture, using the word talking about the word compact and compacting with the words. I noticed your eye contact was focused mainly up toward the front camera. And TV world, that's probably more appropriate. I think in an audience environment, it would be nice to share some eye contact with the rest of the guests here. Good call to action to attend the conference this weekend. And I learned a little bit about the fall conference. I didn't realize it, even though I've been in Toastmasters for a long time, it's every 3 years. I thought it was about 3 or 4 years.
Every 3 years here in Fort Wayne. It's every 6 months.
Right. And in the spring, it's also in Indianapolis, right?
More or less.
More or less. Somewhere around Indianapolis, usually in the spring. So that the only suggestion, some props might have been helpful. Something along the lines of what can you expect from fun night on a Friday night? Maybe something along that line. Perhaps a sock hop. For me, a sock hop is going to the laundry and pulling one sock out of the dryer. Bernice.
Thank you. Now, very quickly, the topic session. Linda, what advice to a new Toastmaster? She addressed the group. She gave a thoughtful answer. Dave, who would you have on your TV show you never had before? You held on to the lectern. I usually don't see you do that. You were very sincere, had an interesting answer. Tom, craziest thing happened at the fall conference. You held on to the lectern. What is this? Pleasant smile. You were tricky. You kind of avoided the question, I thought. Susan, where do you develop speeches? You did not address us. You just jumped right into the answer. But that's okay. Nice gestures, and I especially appreciated your eye contact. You even thought to turn and give eye contact to the topic master. And sometimes we don't do that. That was nice. And me, I was great. What can I say? I'll return control. Oh, and the timer's report. And also, he can just stay here and keep control then of the lectern. Okay. Dave Wilkins.
Well, thank you, Madam General Evaluator, ladies and gentlemen. Our first presenter was Linda. You spoke 13 minutes, 42 seconds, right in there where you wanted to be. Susan's presentation lasted 5 minutes, 22 seconds. And Tom's, your speech lasted 6 minutes and 58 seconds. During the topic session, Linda was 26 seconds, I was 55. Tom, you spoke 54. Susan, you spoke 50. And Bernice, you spoke 48. Those are the times for the topic session. And I think great evaluation tonight. I think a wonderful meeting. I want to thank our camera and technical crew tonight. That's Robert Boyd and Jim Mount, as well as Dennis Osborne, who took care of the audio. And then in the booth, we have Otto Boucher and Amber. Thank you both for being there tonight. It's always a joy to see you. And folks, thank you for tuning in. We're right down to close to the end of the wire, so I'm just going to say, does anybody have any final comments? Anybody like to say, make any final remarks?
Come to Bearfield Toastmasters.
Where's that?
Wayne Library on Lower Huntington Road.
When?
Tuesday night, 6:30 to 8.
All right. Okay. Remember, Bearfield Toastmasters, 6:30 to 8 every Tuesday night, 2200 Lower Huntington Road. That's the Waynedale Public Library. We'll be there next week. And thanks for watching. Until next time, may all your meetings be fair and efficient. And for Toastmasters, better thinking, listening, and speaking. Good night.